So, when it comes to Spider-Man rumors, obviously everybody wants to try to get the biggest scoop around to try to figure out what's up with Spider-Man's future. The latest one that people started tossing out there is that apparently Disney's gonna outright buy him from Sony. Forget this. For $10 billion. He
Where
ain't
does this
worth that
come from?
much.
Where does this
Uh,
come
it, we got this covered. What do you expect?
Actually, it's them and like a bunch of YouTubers, and then like
Yeah.
bigger sites are picking up on them. Like, are you telling me that they're gonna buy Spider-Man for more than Star Wars and Marvel is worth? Get out! Just
Yeah,
stop.
so we can now move on from this. We've established where it's from. It's bullshit.
Like,
So that's
and like, here's what I don't get. People have this perceived notion that Spider-Man is somehow in the films more profitable than the likes of, oh, I don't know, Captain Marvel or Black Panther, where in his like highest profit margin, just so we're clear here, his highest profit margin for a Spider-Man film, which would be Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man Far From Home, that's the two highest grossing Spider-Man films when it comes to how much money the studio actually made. Those films made less of a profit than the first Iron Man. So let that slowly sink in. Like, he's not as profitable as some of these people want to believe when it comes to films because of the insane marketing budget Sony puts behind him that hasn't turned around for that same amount of money.
Yeah.
Like,
And plus, I don't even think that Disney would bend the knee to Sony for that amount of money of what,
Hell
$10 billion.
Ew.
they brought Star Wars for 4. Why would they ever buy Spider-Man for 10?
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't really make any sense. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot of people. I feel like they think because they see Spider-Man stuff everywhere. When it comes to cosplay, when it comes
but
to
the
toys,
Spider-Man video game is the best version ever. Therefore, he's worth 30 billion quadrillions.
like, well, that's the thing. It's like everybody is sitting there thinking that he's worth so much because they see his stuff everywhere. That's not the case. Just because you see his stuff everywhere, because mind you, Sony's not the one who owns those rights.
Yeah.
It's Disney that and Marvel that actually own the rights to his merchandise. So they have those rights. They're going to sit there and they're going to push because it makes them money.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not the movies that are making them the money.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, and during negotiations, you don't pay top dollar. You pay what's good enough for you so you can actually make even more profit
Right.
than what you bought the product for.
Yeah.
And again, here's the issue with this. If Disney was ready to buy Spider-Man, they would have bought him for that price before any of this went public and muddied the waters between the two studios. Like,
I mean, if they were willing to buy it, they would have bought it when Sony wanted 4 billion in like 2011.
Yeah.
exactly. When Avi Arad was prancing around how Spider-Man's going to take down the Avengers. So, like, yeah, let's...
Well, I mean, in theory, he did. He's now kind of ruined that little corner of everything.
Oh,
So
that's true. So he did take him down, I guess.
Yeah, inside job.
he
Yeah,
paid the
that's
lunk con.
Yeah, it was all a ploy by Rothman and Avi. The thing with Spider-Man is, if he never comes back to the MCU for I don't know how long, right? Until Sony ends up being bought out, which will inevitably happen. The MCU is going to do just fine, and I'm willing to say this, they're going to do better than ever before with the amount of
yeah.
content they have planned. So, again...
So they don't need him
Not at
necessarily.
all.
It's just kind of like you want him. It's like no, we want everything back. Like just
Yep.
give it back.
It's like we don't...
It's the principle of it. Like, that's what it is.
Right, it's like he's the last remaining thing they have.
Yeah, Sony is just in a position currently right now that they are wanting to make Spider-Man look more than what he's worth. And they are sitting there being like, he's money signs to us. It's like, no, just, it's not. You
Right.
made something edgy with Venom. Because, mind you, a lot of people gave Venom a try because they're like, we have no idea what to expect for this movie. So people went in, and it made a good amount of money.
And also the kids that grew up in the 90s that recognized Venom were that prime age to be like, oh, I have disposable income, I can go watch Venom now. Like, it was a perfect storm of things. Like, the thing with, let's say, Spider-Man, for example, if the people that hold on to Spider-Man wanted to sell him, and Sony did, they would sell him for a lower amount of money, like 2 billion, maybe, right? But what they would do is what Kevin Feige did when they sold Marvel Studios to Disney. He would guarantee himself a decade worth of a job, executive producer, and somebody that oversees everything that gets a share of every single profit. Yeah. That's what you would do. You wouldn't throw out a 10 billion just to sell them and never be attached to the character. Like, that people are just under the assumption you make a money exchange and that's it. It's like, no. You want the long con in this. You want to guarantee yourself money and involvement, and
you want some extra benefits from the actual purchase.
Oh yeah.
Like, it would just be a waste of time. Like, Disney's not outright gonna buy them unless Sony's like, you want to pay us $2 billion, and then Disney might go, you know what? Okay, so you don't drag them through the mud, so we can just cancel everything you're doing, get Tom Holland back. We'll take it, but. Anything over that, even $2 billion is a stretch for just one character, and only in film, because at most, let's say the next Spider-Man film, if it was MCU, makes $1.5 billion. The profit margin on that will be like, what, 150, 200 million max? So...
But it's not one character they're getting back. They're getting all of his characters.
Right.
So then they can actually move forward with more of the movie aspects, be able to actually potentially have Miles in a movie, be able to get more generations.
Oh, don't worry. Sony will ruin Miles as soon as they can.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, like we've been saying, there's only a few more years left we have to wait.
Yeah.
Marvel is not going to sit there and be like, we're going to buy Spider-Man for $10 billion right now, when they can just sit there, twiddle their thumbs for 5 years and say, haha, didn't have to pay a penny. Yeah. Now he's back.
Yeah, but that's the what's the 5 years got like? And unless Apple actually or someone else buys them, you don't. It's not going to be a case of just sit out and wait.
Right.
Well, with how active it seems like things are moving, with Apple and Amazon's interest in buying,
there's high interest in Sony.
Oh yeah, there's high interest, but like. Something could always happen. Look how close Disney was to getting Sky in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
someone
true.
came along and not. Well, to be fair, if that was the case, we still get Spider-Man back from Sony.
Yeah.
Right.
But, stuff can always happen.
Oh, it can. Like, they could reach a deal. Who knows? Next year, maybe something could be reached. We don't know, but the matter of time. It's just a wait and see. But I guess it's all down to whatever Sony does, right? And that's really the ultimate one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's down to Sony. So, I mean, we'll find out more, like, as soon as Venom starts going into that shooting phase, what their ideas are, because Sony's ready to make some Spider-Man announcements soon. I can't tell you what some of the details I've been told, but...
Go read the leaked emails, and there you go.
Let that sigh indicate...
Just all that.
what to expect.
I don't think you're sighing
where
hard
they want to
enough.
go. Oh, apparently not. I guess we're just gonna swing on to the next topic.